From Atlanta News First Plus, this is Sports Tonight.
Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to Sports Tonight. I'm sports producer Scott Pennyman. As you can see here, with someone who I've never done a Sports Tonight show with.
We got a new face.
We got sports reporter Elijah Collins.
What's up, everyone?
How you feeling, man?
We're feeling good, man. It's Friday. It's actually my Monday. So.
Your Monday?
Yeah, I'm on Monday, y'all Friday, but it's all good, though.
That's kind of wild to have a Friday on a Monday.
Yeah, I know. I come in and everyone's like, happy Friday. I'm like, it's my Monday, though.
You're like, yeah, for you.
But it's my Monday. It's my Monday. It's all good, though.
You're like, happy
Feeling
Friday.
Good.
Happy Friday for y'all. Ain't happy
Yes.
Friday for me. But no,
Feeling good, though.
Hey, look, well, for me it's a Thursday, so it's all good. So
Okay.
You feeling good. I just wonder if the Atlanta Dream are feeling good right about now.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to probably say
No.
6.
6?
6.
Well, look, the Dream have been, they started pretty good. They started the season pretty good.
Started good.
They dropped 4 of their last 5,
Yes.
including last night. They fell to the Indiana Fever 91-84.
Yeah.
They last night was one of those games where in watching that game, it never really felt like, you never really watched that game. It felt like they were going to win. The Fever kind of jumped on
Right.
them with a good team effort. And you never really got the feel throughout the game that the Dream had really gotten themselves together. And they talked about some bad habits before the game. They're in a struggle right now. You know, we've seen teams in this sort of struggle before where they just really can't seem to get on their feet. And the Fever, who were also a struggling team coming into the game, at 3-10 with obviously the hoopla with Caitlin Clark and everything.
Yeah.
It wasn't even Caitlin Clark that gave it to him last night. Like,
At all.
Clark only had 7. She had 7 points and 6 assists.
Yeah.
Aaliyah Boston, last year's #1 overall pick, she had a great and Joel Embiid type performance.
Let's see.
27 and 13, 27 points, 13 rebounds.
That's a solid night.
Kelsey Mitchell was lighting them up. She had 24. And so the Dream
24.
continued their struggle. And you know what?
But I think it was that Fever game was closer than I expected. But the game that's really like still like I can't let go is the Mystics game. I know that was one of their 2 games that they dropped.
They were winless.
And they were winless. And I think they kind of overlooked the Gath game. But like I said, I mean, they start the season strong. I think for me, they're showing good spurts, though. I think the first 2 games that they won, their home opener, they had pretty good fourth quarters. Who was it they played? The Aces. I think they had a good fourth quarter. They actually had a good second half.
Yeah.
Good second half with them. I think they held them to like a record low in the first quarter. I can't remember what it was. But, I mean, the good thing is that they're showing spurts. Now it's just all about getting that consistency. So we'll see.
And watching last night's game, and look, I will never – look, Coach Tanisha Wright, excellent coach.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing bad to say about her. But when I watched the Dream, right, and maybe this is just how they play the game, but I was just watching, kind of wondering to myself last night as I was watching the game. You have Ryan Howard, who had a big game last night, right? Sometimes when I watch – so she finished with 26 points.
26.
You know, so she led everybody by far. So last night was not the perfect example for what I'm about to say. But when I watch these Dream games sometime, you have certain teams that they have a star and they play through that star every game, right? Because they're a star player.
You got to feed them.
You got to feed them. It doesn't feel like the Dream always do that, though, with Ryan Howard. It seems like she just kind of plays within the offense, gets in where she fits in. Now, last night she was aggressive. It seemed like they had an effort to get her more into the game because outside of her, I don't know that you have anybody who you're like, all right, you know, consistently she can give us a big night.
Can put up buckets,
Yeah, on a regular basis.
And I mean, you said it yourself, like every team has that player. You got to feed and build around accordingly. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, Alicia Gray, like she can shoot the long ball, but you got to have that one person that you feed and then have those role players kind of fall into place.
Right. That's what I'm saying. And so I just wish, I don't know, like I say, I'm certainly not a expert when it comes to Atlanta Dream basketball, you know, because
still,
like so many of us, like we're paying newfound attention to these WNBA games, you know,
100%.
with this year because with the rookie class that came in, you know, so I think we're sort of analyzing these games now as if they're NBA games, you know, for the first time ever. And just watching them last night, like I say, I know Ryan Howard's a star. You watch Ryan Howard. I just wish that they would do more to get her going early, more to just sort of run things through her. That's all, just when you watch these games.
And I actually think that's where the consistency part comes into play, too.
Right.
When you got a good player like that, when you got a star play, and you feed them early and you kind of get them in their groove,
They hit the rhythm.
that's where that consistency part comes in.
They hit that rhythm. So, as you can imagine, after the game, head coach Tanisha Wright and the players were a little down, because this, like I said, this is becoming a little frustrating now.
Right.
When you look at their last 5 games or so. I mean, obviously got beat by the Fever last night. That terrible loss to the Mystics.
And who was before the Mystics? You have that pulled up. Who was that?
So they beat the loss before that. They did beat the Sky, but then they lost to the Liberty and lost to the Sun.
Yeah.
In blowout fashion.
Yeah.
So they lost 4 of their last 5. So obviously it becomes frustrating to be in this position, because when you hit one of these bad stretches, it feels like you're never going to get out of it.
Yeah.
So
in the rut.
right. And so last night after the game, you could tell Coach and some of her players were a little dejected. As a matter of fact, don't take my word for it. Here goes head coach Wright and some of her players talking about last night's game and just what they needed to do to get up out this hole.
They got hot early, and we got to do a better job of starting those games.
What went into the decision tonight to start Nia?
We just needed something different. I think we needed to look like we've looked in the past for our comfort level. And so, yeah.
Do you feel like you got that?
Yeah, I do. Like I said, I think defensively we didn't do a great job in the first half of taking away their options when they got hot. So Mitchell got hot. Obviously Boston got hot. So we needed to do a better job of that. But I think the second half we got a little bit more back to ourselves and playing Atlanta basketball, how we've played in the last 2 years.
Defensively, why were they able to be just so effective in the paint? I think they had 42.
Well, Boston is a load, physical. We know that. It's hard to double off of a team who shoots the ball really well from the 3-point line. So you just try to make it tough by not letting her get easy touches. I think in the first half we didn't do a great job of not letting her get easy touches, forcing her off her spots, different things like that. With Mitchell, she's a player that gets hot. But we also, I thought, we didn't keep the ball in front of us. We didn't do a great job of keeping the ball in front of us well enough to where we can kind of stay in the play, and then if they go to score, try to contest over it. So they were able to find some easy threes and different like that. I thought we did a much better job in the second half, to be honest. I thought we did a much better job of that in the second half. So.
Brian, you had 26. How did you feel things opened up for you?
I feel, obviously second half it was a lot more open just because we started playing together a bit more and, looking for each other. And, with CP getting hot, it just forces them to have to want to take away her shot, so it gets other people's shots and just moving the ball and, riding the hot hand at the time. But, shout out to my teammates. They're getting me open, they're finding me the ball, and they're trusting me to make the right play off of that. So.
She also was in the game. I mean, first half she wasn't in the game.
Yeah.
She was in the game early and got some great looks early and knocked the ball down early, and then cool off because you have to sit for a few minutes. And in the second half, she played the whole second half. Played the whole second half. So
let's go to Megan Holt. Megan, go ahead.
Yeah, hey Coach, this question is for you. Can you walk me through, I guess, maybe just the late game execution? I think there was 2 shot clock violations, and then things just kind of went down from there. But I just want to ask, what did you see from your lens in terms of, hey, what was Indiana doing there to call those?
No, I mean, that was them. They can answer that question for you. I can't. Yeah. They called the...
So you just have to be more aware and, realizing how much time is up there. Maybe take the looks that we get and not do that next time, but we just have to be more aware of the time.
Yeah, a set was called. We just didn't get there. We didn't get there. They were all looking at each other and staring at each other and walking around, right, in those moments. I tell them all the time, stop walking. so that in moments like that, we won't walk. Don't I always do that? Every practice, when they're walking around, I say stop walking. So in moments when we need to get to our spots and do things with a sense of urgency, they will do that. They didn't do that. They didn't do that. And so as a result, we got some bad turnovers, late game execution. You got to be able to execute when you're in a tight game like that. So.
And then just a quick follow-up from me for Cheyenne. Cheyenne, can you just talk about, I guess, your energy today coming on the court, what you felt and what you saw, and some of your great looks that you were able to get?
Yeah, just my focus today was coming off the bench to be the spark, be that spark coming off the bench. I just wanted to bring the energy and allow my teammates to feed off of that energy. I think we did a great job with that in the second half. The first half we started a little slow, but the energy that we brought in that second half is definitely, that's Atlanta Dream basketball. So just got to build off of that.
Go ahead, Brandon.
For Cheyenne, first 10 games you started, you come off the bench, you talked about that spark. Is that a role, if Coach continues to keep that rotation, that you are willing to embrace moving forward?
Absolutely. That's one thing I take pride in being as a team player. So whatever I can do to help my team, and if that's coming off the bench, playing that 5 position where I'm more comfortable, 110%, I'll be that spark.
Coach, you got 30 points off the bench with Cheyenne leading the way. What does she bring to the second unit? Is that something that you could see you using more frequently moving forward with your lineups?
Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna keep testing some things out and see what works for us. But we know Cheyenne is a beast. She was an all-star last year. She was an all-star for a reason. So putting her in a position where she's most comfortable is my job, so that she can go to work. I thought she left some things on the table today too. She left some easy ones on the table that she could have finished. But we know what Cheyenne's capable of doing when she's at her best self.
Go ahead, Emmanuel.
Ryan, today your backcourt mate Haley was able to get 32 minutes. She also got 10 points. What are some of the things that she did well that you were able to see playing with her tonight?
Haley always is able to set the tone for us. She's been a great leader thus far, and I'm super proud of what she's doing. But, being able to handle the pressure that she's getting every night, also while trying to make sure we're all in our right spots, make sure that we're all on the same page, on both sides of the floor, is just something that's not easy in this league, and so I commend her for that.
And my last, Coach, offensive line, you got the points there, you scored more points, but defensive, what are some of the things that you wanted to see more out there on the defensive side?
Yeah, in the first half, I said it earlier, Emmanuel, in the first half we didn't do a great job of Boston and Mitchell. I think those were the two that really hurt us in the first half. I think particularly our guards didn't do a great job of keeping the ball in front, so they were able to get in the paint, and then we draw help, somebody helps, and then they're spraying the ball out for open looks and open opportunities. And Mitchell made a couple tough ones when we were, the one right before the half was a tough one. There was another one up top, I think, on Leash, maybe? Yeah. I think another one on top on Leash, which was a tough shot. Leash was there, draped on her. So she made some tough shots. But when you get easy ones that go through the hoop and you see those go through the hoop, then those ones, when you're a player like Mitchell, become much easier to make. So we didn't do a great job of that. And, we didn't do a great job on Boston in terms of where she was catching the ball and taking away her personnel.
We'll finish up with Candace. Go ahead.
This question is for Ryan. Ryan, last conference you said shoot or shoot. And tonight you absolutely did that. So what was your mindset change between your last games and tonight?
Just trying to get back to myself, honestly. I know in the past couple of games I haven't been shooting as well, but, my teammates are always like, we're still going to need you to do that. And so I can't just not look at the basket in the position that I'm in. And so, like I said, shout out to them for, keeping that confidence in me, but also looking to get me open and looking to get me the ball and keep trying to feed me and keep me going and keep me engaged in the game. And even if I wasn't shooting well tonight, I still would have done other things. But, shooters do shoot. So.
Well, like I said, the Dream, they have a chance to get back on track. So
We will see.
I think they'll do whatever it takes to get where they want to be. So now, this is I told you
This
before
is
the
what
show
you were
started,
waiting for all day.
I was waiting for this topic right here. I couldn't wait for this one. So
Let's see.
it's big because Lawrenceville, not Lawrenceville, Cartersville native, Cartersville, Georgia native, Trevor Lawrence just got
paid.
like what the Migos say, major bag alert. All right, major
bag.
bag alert for him. So big old bag coming for Trevor Lawrence. So Trevor Lawrence yesterday agreed to re-sign with the Jacksonville Jaguars to a 5-year, $275 million contract, including $200 million in guarantees.
That's a lot of money.
Okay, so look. All right.
That's a lot.
So I get it. The NFL quarterback market is exploding, right? I mean, it's the most important position in professional sports. Let's just be real. NFL quarterback. So I get it. These guys get major paydays because there's only 32 of them in the world that can do it at that level.
100%.
So I get it. However, I think some of these are a little bit ridiculous.
You think he's a little overpaid for this one?
Yeah, now I know a lot of these guys have been overpaid
Yeah.
when you look at, obviously, Deshaun Watson in Cleveland. I'm a Browns fan. A lot of fans there have been on his case mainly because he hasn't played a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like if he was on the field, he'd be proving he was worth it. But he just hasn't played a lot, so they feel like that deal wasn't worth it. Now, Trevor Lawrence, when you look at him, right? So when you look at his so far in the NFL, he's had a very kind of up and down career because his rookie year, which many people gave him a pass for because he had Urban Meyer as head coach, and that was a total disaster. And his rookie year was a total disaster, right? He had over 3,600 yards passing, 12 touchdowns and 17 interceptions. That's horrible.
Yeah.
So the next year,
interceptions right there.
right, 17 interceptions. He's thrown 39 interceptions for his career. In his second year, that's a lot. That's a lot of interceptions. That's a lot. His second year was really good. He got back on track. They hired Doug Peterson as the head coach, Super Bowl winning coach, got his life in order, got his life back on track, got his game back on track. Everything was good. They made the playoffs, won a playoff game. Excellent year. Last year started really good, but then they went into the tank, and they missed the playoffs.
That's true.
They fell off a cliff, right?
Still had a lot of interceptions, too.
Right. He's still throwing a lot of interceptions.
What was it, 14?
14.
14?
14 interceptions. He's thrown 39 for his career.
That's
So when I tell you those things, and by the way, the Jacksonville Jaguars record while Trevor Lawrence has been quarterback is 20-30. Does that sound like a guy to you who's worth $275 million with $200 guaranteed?
I don't think so. I'm not giving them that much.
I'm just saying.
That's a lot.
I'm not trying to be a hater. Look, I want everybody to get paid as much as possible. Look, the NFL makes a lot of money.
I was going to say, if they paying up, then hey.
Look, there's a lot of money. The NFL pays a lot of money. There's a lot of money to go around. I ain't never going to hate on nobody for getting their bag.
And
ever.
I'm also reading, too, huge, I'm sure you know, matching Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow as the NFL's highest paid player on an annual basis.
Now, Joe Burrow has been to a Super Bowl. In the AFC Championship game.
He has receipts.
So I get it. He got some receipts, right? I mean, so I get why he's gotten paid what he's gotten paid. But Trevor Lawrence, 20-30 in his career. They made the playoffs one time out of 3 years, and he's really only had one good season in 3 years. I don't know how that justifies a $275 million payday.
Yeah.
But I guess Jacksonville just kind of looked at it
Can't be
like,
mad at him.
No, I think Jacksonville just kind of looked at it like, well, we need somebody to play quarterback, and, you know, he does it well enough for us to feel good about him, so we got to keep him. So, look, I get it. Congratulations to Trevor. Like I say, from Cartersville, Georgia, man. So get the money, and I'm not going to hate on him. So, NBA Finals Game 4, what you think that's going to be about tonight?
See, I'm a crazy man because I picked Dallas in 5. Now I'm looking like a fool. That ain't going to happen. So, realistically, I got Celtics getting the sweep now.
Okay.
I think if the Mavs were to win one game, it was Game 3. We went on the run. It was like 20-2, 20-2 run in the fourth. Called a timeout, which was a horrible mistake which I think. So I think if they were to win a game in this series, it definitely would have been Game 3.
So this has really been
Celtics close it out.
This has been a coming out party for Tatum and Brown, hasn't it been?
100%. You know what they're saying? Brown's the best player.
See, I hate all that. See that
I don't like the talk right now, but stats wise, given his skill set, he's definitely up there.
I mean, look, they've both been extraordinary in the series.
Been producing,
I mean,
yeah.
I think Tatum had the one game where he struggled, but for the most part, he's averaging like 25, 10, and 6.
Yeah.
Like, I think Brown leads him in points per game by like 3, but Tatum leads him in rebounds and assists per game. So, I mean, at the end of the day,
100%.
they need both of them.
Yeah.
And the important part here is not who's the better player between two guys who are on the same team fighting for the same goals. The big story here is that they're about to be world champions.
Yeah.
And that's what's important, because once you become a world champion, that changes your life. That changes what people think about you and your career.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who the better player is between two teammates. I mean, what are we doing here?
100%.
You know,
I think that's what it was a sit-down interview. I think Malika was asking him, like, all this talk between you, Jaylen Brown, and Tatum, who's the best player? He's like,
they're not buying
at the
into
end of the
that.
day, if I get my trophy, I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, they're not buying into that because they're too mature to buy into that.
100%.
I think they know they're about to win.
I think they get it done.
Yeah, and I think they know these media mind games, and those are two mature young men, and they're too mature to buy into it. They're too mature to fall for Jason Kidd's mind games, trying to get them to buy into it, and they're going to win this series, and they're going to be world champs. I don't know if it's going to be tonight.
You don't think it's going to be tonight? Think Dallas gets one?
If they have any pride, they'll fight, and they should win, but I don't know. But no matter when it happens, the Celtics are going to win this series, period.
100%.
All right, so last topic here, Atlanta United. Trying to talk about teams who've been on the struggle bus.
It's been rough.
It's been rough. They've only won one match in their last 10. They're back at it tomorrow against Houston. Hopefully, Houston, we won't have a problem, right? So
we'll see. It's at home.
Right, it's at home,
so,
which ain't really a
their
good
last
thing.
5 at home. So
right. So I don't even know if that's a good thing if they're at home. So they need this one. So I was out there yesterday. The players I think they're sort of refreshed and they feel rejuvenated. And I think they know what they need to do to get things back on track. The question is, would they be able to do it? Where here's Dax McCarty, who's very straightforward, by the way, about what the team needs to do to get back on track.
First half of the season's done. Acknowledge that it wasn't good enough, and turn the page and move forward. Obviously, we've had a little bit of a break here, a little bit of an adaptation period to Rob, and I think the training sessions have been really good, really sharp, really positive, trying to figure out where we can improve and make sure that it gets better. So you have no choice but to look forward and to move forward. You have to have belief. You have to find confidence in what you're doing every day. And obviously, it starts for me with our home form. It has to change. It's unacceptable to lose 5 home games in a row. Don't think it's ever happened at any club I've been at in my career, and there's not any one specific reason for it. It's just it has to be better all around from all of us, especially us as players. Our fans deserve better, especially at the Benz. So we're going to get this thing moving in the right direction.
What kind of things is Rob doing and the assistants doing to try to instill more confidence?
I think it's an acknowledgement of the things that we do well, making sure that our attacking players know that they're good players and we want them on the ball in situations where they're running at an opposition backline and creating chances. It's just a matter of us being a little bit sharper in and around the goal. We've created chances. I think everyone can see that. But the ball hasn't been going in the net as much as it should be for us. So that's an issue. And we know that. And we're working every day to make sure that our attacking players get confidence. In front of the goal, a lot of crosses, a lot of shots, making sure that they see the ball hit the back of the net when we're in training, because then that'll translate into the game. And it's just an acknowledgement that we have a good team. We know we do. We just need to get this thing going in the right direction. And so I think for me, a lot of it is mental. And if we can get a good result, a positive result at home, which means 3 points, then I think we can turn the page and start moving this thing forward and trying to get back into the playoff conversation.
Similar question I asked Brad, talk about scoring and things. The challenge, I presume, is team's about to sell its leading scorer to a club in Mexico. You're going to lose. Your second leading scorer is in Euros right now. Your third leading scorer is going to be headed off to the Olympics. How big of a challenge is it to get into a form when you've got players coming and going quite frequently?
Well, that's the beauty of a team sport. You have a hierarchy. You have players who you know are high-quality players. That's how it works in sports, right? The best players usually score the most goals and get the most assists and get paid the most money. That's the fun thing about team sports, is that when you lose one or when one's not available, there's another opportunity there for someone else to step up. And I think that's the thing with us and with soccer in general, is that for guys that haven't gotten as many minutes, or maybe guys that people on the outside don't know as much, it's an opportunity for someone else. And it's an opportunity for someone else to stake their claim on why they deserve more minutes, or why they deserve a new deal, or why they deserve to be talked about more, because it's an opportunity and a void that needs to be filled. And so I think when you lose good players, whether it be to injury, whether it be to a sale, whether it be to a different competition, it's easy to talk about not having them. It's easy to have that be an excuse and say, well, okay, we were missing, player X or player Y, and that's what we're going to fall back on, why we didn't win a game. I mean, that's crap. That's not relevant to us being successful. So the excuses have to stop, and that starts with us as players. No more excuses. And that's how you get moving in the right direction, and that's how you gain confidence in a team, because it's 11 guys on the field, it's 5 subs that come into the game, and it's the guys that don't play, everyone pulling in the same direction, having a good attitude, and making sure that we start getting good results here.
All right, Elijah, so this is our final segment, as you know. Before we get out of here, I'm going to ask you, what's on your mind?
What's on my mind? Let's see. Of course, we got the draft day party coming up.
That's
Jeezy's
right.
going to be performing, right?
Jeezy is? I'm about to get over. I might just slide over there and go take a look.
So my mind is, which route are the Hawks going to go? Which route are the Hawks?
Look, so I was over at Overtime.
I've been thinking about this for a while.
So I was over at Overtime Elite a few weeks ago to go talk to the general manager there, Damian Wilkins, where Alex Sarr, who was the projected #1 overall pick.
Yeah, I think they're going to.
He went to Overtime Elite, so they speak very highly of him.
Yeah.
So I tend to believe they'll go in that direction. But this is one of these years where there's no consensus player. So I think in years like that, you never know what can happen.
And my thing is, what are they going to do with their backcourt? I think for sure they got to pick up Alex Sarr, like, #1, because their bigs, like, at this point, just reconstruct. Get a young guy who's athletic, tall, got a little mid-range game, but at this point, what are you going to do with Young and Murray?
I think they're probably, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's in the minds of the, when you look at them, it doesn't seem like it flows together the way it should.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me to see them move
Get
on,
rid of one.
but who knows, So,
What's on your mind?
I don't really have that much on my mind except for we're heading to the weekend. T-minus maybe under a month before the NCAA football game comes out for
You gonna get it?
PS5. Of course I'm going to get it. I'm going to be all over. It's just 10 years in the waiting.
I remember playing
I still love playing my.
We used to always play the mascot mode.
Oh, yeah.
Mascot mode. Longhorns.
I can't wait
First the Oregon Ducks. I got to get it.
I'm just counting down the days at this point. I'm just counting down the days.
I'm definitely getting it.
So, Elijah, always, this has been dope.
It's been a pleasure. First time.
Sports Tonight. I'm sure we'll do this many more times. So, we'll have, I'm sure we'll have some disagreements on here, too, which is good. So, everybody, thank you for joining us for Sports Tonight here on this Friday. Appreciate you. Have a good weekend. Stay warm and stay cool and hydrated
It's
because
going to be hot.
It's really warm outside. It's going to be a hot weekend. So, stay inside and watch some sports. We'll see y'all.